Hi everyone, it's Alyssa again. I know it's been a little while since I've updated and a lot of things have happened since then. The last time I left off, I had our embryo transfer. That was on July 6th. 10 days after that, I went in for blood work to make sure my HCG levels were at the right amount, and I found out that they were pretty low, but I was still staying positive because I had low HCG levels with my own son, and so I wasn't letting that affect me yet. I was still staying positive about that. A couple days later, I went in for another round of blood work, and the numbers surprisingly had gone up. They had doubled, which is what we wanted, so that was great. So I had been being sent back for blood work every 3 to 4 days just to check that. My levels were going up okay. They weren't as high as a normal range pregnancy would be, but they were still going up okay. One time I did go in for blood work and it didn't quite double, but it was raising. So we were still kind of being cautiously optimistic at this point. One day I was out with my children and I was having very bad period cramps, and I went to the bathroom and there was some bleeding. So I did call my clinic and told them about that. They did say that sometimes it is fairly normal with doing IVF, so I wasn't too worried about it. They did send me in for blood work the next day just to check everything out, and they did an ultrasound. On the ultrasound, they did not see anything in my uterus, but the ultrasound tech told me that since my HCG levels were still pretty low, you probably wouldn't see anything in the uterus. My uterus did look, I guess I would say, puffy. It looked like, it wasn't as thin as it was before we did the transfer. So they sent me back a couple days later and looked again, and they actually found the embryo in my fallopian tube up to next to my ovary. So that was not good. They called that an ectopic pregnancy. So we were definitely keeping a close eye on me. I was getting blood work every couple of days to check on the hormone levels. I did decide to do 2 injections of something called methotrexate. It's a very, very low dose of chemotherapy, and it is used to kind of shrink and dissolve the embryo and just let it pass that way. So I had 1 dose done, and then 4 days later you have to go and get the second half of the dose. So I did that, and we kept checking my blood levels, and they were going down, so we figured, okay, this must be working, this is great. One morning, about 5 in the morning, I had woken up with really bad abdominal pain, and I thought, this is really weird. So I did end up going to the emergency room just to check on everything. I actually thought maybe it was my appendix. And so in the emergency room, they did do some blood work. The blood work came back fine, saying that my hormone level was still going down for the pregnancy and that it was not my appendix. So they did an ultrasound, and to our surprise, the embryo was still basically in the same spot and had not shrunk at all. So they called my OB at 7:30 in the morning and sent me over to her, and we decided there that the best option would be to go in for surgery. I did talk with my OB, and she said I had a couple of options. She was going to go in, not sure what she would find. She said she was going to try to save my fallopian tube, but if the embryo was too big or it was looking like my tube might rupture, then she was just going to have to take the whole fallopian tube. So after surgery, I got out, and I was told that they did have to take my entire fallopian tube because the embryo was just way too big. So I stayed in the hospital for a few hours just to recover. I just have 3 small incisions from the surgery, And now we are just kind of waiting to do another transfer. I mean, I've been talking with my intended parents. We're still all on board. I am just letting my body recover and get back to normal. And I feel good now. It's been about 6 weeks since I had the surgery. And when you do the methotrexate, you have to wait at least 3 months in order to transfer again, because you want to make sure that the methotrexate is completely out of your body before you transfer again. Otherwise, there could be a lot of problems with the embryo. So now we are just waiting. I did start birth control pills a week ago, and we're just getting ready to do another transfer, hopefully in the next month or so. So that's where I am at. I did just want to, make sure everyone's aware that, surrogacy is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I'm so glad I'm doing this in order to help a family, but there can be complications, and that's definitely something you want to think about before you just dive right in and decide to do surrogacy. So with that being said, I am very excited to try this again and do another second transfer. Thank you.